Hello awesome people, I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the 1883 short story, The Secret of the Scaffold, and this is by Auguste Villiers de L'Isle Adam, who is a French writer. He was a big writer in science fiction, horror, and I don't know about fantasy, but it mentions science fiction here. He was the person who came up with the term android, which has become a popular term now in science fiction. And so he's a big name in those two genres. We'll be looking at a horror short story that's in our collection about mad scientists in the horror genre. There are 10 short stories in here. This is the third that I've read. I've also already read and reviewed one of these called Rapinchi's Daughter, so there are 6 left after this one. This one's about 17 pages long. It took me last night a little bit more than a half an hour for me to knock it out for the first time, and it took me about 35 minutes or so for me to knock it out in this oversized collection. For folks, and I definitely enjoyed it, knocking it out. It was well written. I think it did a lot of fun stuff. I'm probably giving it like a 7.5 out of 10. So it was definitely well written. It was gripping, but and the central premise was fine. But it felt like I wasn't a super fan of the ending. I don't think it was a particular shock or a twist ending that I didn't see coming, or those sorts of things. Anyway, so as a reminder, I keep my reviews spoiler free, so I won't be doing too much of a deep dive for you folks, but into this story's plot. But basically what's happening is you're going to find out early on that our point of view character has been sentenced to death in France contemporaneously. So he's going to be death by guillotine. And so he has just had an appeal. His appeal was denied, and now he's being visited. And he was a man of science, and now he is being visited by another fellow scientist who talks to him a while about sciencey stuff, and then things will happen plot-wise. There's a lot of science talk, between the two of them, the two scientists, and so forth. And then things happen at the end, which I won't tell you about because of spoilers, and then that's it. That's the 17 pages. It's pretty quick. It's pretty fast. It's a lot of fun stuff, but it's probably a little too long. There's a lot more talking than there is stuff that's happening between the two people, and so it's not, and it doesn't take a twist ending or anything like that you didn't see coming already. Again, so that's So I'm only giving it a 7.5 out of 10, but it's still good. It's still worth your time. It's still a 7.5, right? So I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm glad I read it by this writer, a famous writer, a French symbologist, and according to this stuff in this book. This book is, I will link you to the Promethean Horrors collection that we'll be doing a deep dive into on Amazon. It's also probably for free online since it's an 1883 short story and it's well past the copyright date in most countries, so I'm sure that'll be free somewhere here on American. I'm going to try to find it for you too, since he was such a big name during his time, so influential, multiple genres. So anyway, so there you are. So as a reminder, we've been doing a deep dive into this horror stuff. This is the same publisher that we just did a deep dive into with a gothic horror combined with botanical aspects like eating trees and stuff like that. So I was still in a mood for some new horror stuff that I hadn't read, and so I picked this up, and so with its 10 stories in it, and again, one of which we've already reviewed and read for you, Rapinchi's Daughter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So the rest, and then I just did H.P. Lovecraft, and now this one. Next up is a Mary Shelley short story, which is about 20 pages in this collection. So that'll be the next one. That'll be fun. So anyway, I'll go ahead and leave you to it. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. Also, as a reminder, the name of my channel, The Worst Thing About New Books, is a quote by a French philosopher, so that's ironic because this is a French writer who's famous, named Jacques Joubert, who said the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones. And an 1883 short story in the horror genre definitely qualifies as an older story, right? So anyway, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives. We're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.